Alright guys, listen, I'm gonna need you to do one thing for me. Don't comment on my hair in this video, just ignore it, okay? I'm getting a haircut this next week. Barbershop's finally opening back up, so this thing is finally gonna get taken care of. Just don't comment on it, okay? Welcome to the Savage Productions YouTube channel. But anyway guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're gonna be working on the LS motor. I'm gonna be recording Dad doing some stuff. He's gonna be checking piston valve clearance on the engine. The engine's up under there. He's been assembling it, and if you haven't seen any other videos where we've been assembling that, just click the link right up there. You'll be taken to the video and you can watch some of the stuff that we did. We're gonna be doing that here in a second, but first we're gonna be cranking up this police interceptor that we've been working on. We already did a gear in this thing. We did some catback exhaust, and he actually came back again for some long tube headers. And I'm pretty sure that in the future this thing's going to be getting a supercharger. So if you want to see more on this thing, subscribe to the channel, and we'll be having a dedicated video coming out on that if we do the supercharger. We're currently waiting on an EGR delete kit. We currently have it just kind of unplugged right now, so it is going to have a little bit of an exhaust leak when we crank it up. Hopefully not going to be that bad. If you haven't seen this thing, it is all business. It's a old retired police interceptor. It still has the ballistics panel inside of the doors. Everything in here is pretty much original to police interceptor. None of the electronics, but I think he's actually planning on getting that. There's like a shotgun under there or something. He's representing Savage Performance. We put this Stainless Works catback system on it about a month ago or so, a month or two. And now we did Stainless Works long tubes. And these also look pretty good. You can see the little SW in there. This is a little cold air intake deal that the owner did. We're gonna get this thing cranked up and pull that Camaro back in here. Woo. Sounds pretty good. You can hear the leak. Yeah. As many of y'all know, new headers, they often smoke a little bit because there's some oil in there. Let's get a little rev. Oh my God. Dude. That thing sounds good, man.
It's still burning the oil out of the header, ain't it?
Yeah, it is. That wasn't much. That was probably what, 3,500 RPM, if that.
I mean, well, when it's in park, it only go to like 3,000.
Yeah. I mean, it's not heated up yet.
It's got a limiter.
Dude, that thing sounded freaking good.
Yeah.
And it's quiet, just like chilling here. I bet when you crack into it, it's going to sound real good.
Yeah, once we get that cap on the tube.
Yeah. Heck yeah. Oh yeah, we're doing a tune too. Cy Lee is going to tune it. Could be a bad unit. Heck yeah. All right, let's get this Camaro pushed in now. Okay, William's car is in the bay now. It's not leaving until it gets this engine put in it, and also the fender and front bumper cover. So the engine is all assembled here, the rotating assembly, the cam's in, so short block's done. We're going to go ahead and check piston and valve clearance today. I have the dowels here that you put the heads, put these into the block in case you don't know, and then the heads slide on there. It just helps you line it up. I'm gonna get these cleaned up, and Dad's over here. He's going to take off one of the intake and one of the exhaust valves, replace it with our little cheap springs that we have. So they're easy to push down, and we'll be checking piston and valve clearance.
Well, look at that, they cleaned them up.
Yeah.
That hot tank, I guess hot tank machine maybe, I don't know what they cleaned up. But
so the machine shop did a complete valve job on them. The valve guides were completely wore out, so we just went ahead and had them take out the valve guides, replace them, and they put the springs on, completely assembled them, everything. So looks pretty good.
Yeah, I gave them the whole kit, so they put the They put the valve seals in. They made sure that the installed height was right, because usually when you do valve guides and then you cut new seats in, because you know you basically got to cut all new seats, it'll change the installed height on the springs. So he had shims and everything, and I gave him the card, so they give us the installed height, the correct installed height for these.
And this is what, the BTR Stage 4 kit?
Yeah. Yeah, an NA. It's an NA cam, but they said that it works really well with nitrous.
Yeah.
So
he's planning on doing nitrous if you don't know that. But man, yeah, they look really good.
Yeah.
All cleaned up.
Yeah, pretty clean. I just got to kind of wipe them down a little bit, but yeah, I mean, these things were really dirty, like in here.
Yeah.
And then I look at the intake. Everything's cleaned up good now.
So yeah, it's gonna be stock heads, stock intake. So just cam, exhaust, 416 cubic inch. The owner might do some more optimization on the heads and stuff later on, maybe a better intake. But for now, I think he's just gonna stick with what he's got here, because he also plans on running nitrous, like I said.
This winter, he wants us to do a Nitrous Express plate kit.
Cool. That's a good choice.
Well, the same one that we were going to put on it before.
Oh, yeah.
We found the engine.
Right.
Hurt.
Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, he can, honestly, with this kit, I mean, he can throw 150, 200 shot to it easy.
Right.
This thing can handle the power now, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah. What, he got the pistons rated for like what, 800?
Yeah, we put the, let's see, the pistons and the rods and everything, they're rated for 1,000.
Okay.
1,000, actually it was more than 1,000. And it was the rod bolts. You know, most of the rod bolts that come with them will handle 850, 900, I think it was. And I asked him if he wanted to upgrade to the 2000, AOP 2000s.
Yeah.
That's what we did on Justin Jones's car.
Right.
And he didn't want to, so.
Okay, so we got our little test spring on here. That way when we put the head on, you'll see in a sec, that way we can push down on it and check the clearance. Okay, so on these engines you actually have to put the lifters in before you put the gaskets on, because lifters tighten down right there. So we got these new Cam Motion, what are they called? Lifter trays. Lifter trays. Lifters have been soaking in oil, and what you have.
See how they hold them in?
Yeah.
The ones that were on this motor were wore out. I mean, they were real thin in here.
Yeah. Well, that's probably what caused the issue that it was having, right?
Yeah, I mean, they were wore out, and the lifter was sitting there moving like this, side to side in there.
Right. So the actual roller tip wasn't riding straight on the cam.
Yeah. So
Again,
we got these. Yeah, I don't want to turn them upside down because they've been soaking. I'm gonna keep the oil in them. Making a mess. Yep, that's part of it.
I'm going to show you how we're checking piston-to-valve clearance on this thing. Luckily, the screw, or the little stud that was sticking out of the bottom of this thing, actually goes right into the valley cover bolts. So
Perfect fit, huh?
Convenient.
They made it for an LS.
I guess so. So what we have right now, we already checked it, and our piston-to-valve clearance is good, but we're going to show you how we did it. So we have this dial indicator. This part rotates, and we just set it at 0. We took all the lash out of the lifter bolt, and
Lash out of the push rod.
Out of the push rod. We're set this right here on the tip of the valve. Set this to 0, and then. Let's see. So that went around. Did it go around once already? Yeah, went around once. Went around twice, and about.
So we're 200.
So that's like 240 thousandths that we went around, because there's 240 thousandths difference because it went around 2 and then 4/10.
Well, so basically, this is the intake valve. So on the intake valve, you want a minimum of 80 thousandths clearance between the valve and the piston. So at this point, you just want to keep turning this over just a little at a time, because we're close to where the piston, the closest point, right?
Right.
So we're just going to barely move it because basically the piston is just starting to go down.
Yeah.
The intake valve is opening. The intake valve will chase the piston, and it will get to a closest point. We have plenty of clearance. I mean, we got 200 thousandths clearance on this. But
so he moved it a little bit, and as you can see, we had to re-zero the dial.
Yep. And then I'm going to push down on the valve, right?
Yep.
And let's see how close we are now. There's 100 thousandths, 200 thousandths.
Okay.
See how it got a little closer?
Yeah, so that's about another, that's like 230, so that's about 10 less.
Yeah, so it got a little closer, so let's go a little bit again.
Yep.
And it don't take much. I mean, just a little bit, and it will be there on top of it quick.
And let's readjust. Okay.
I mean, honestly, we know we got so much clearance, we don't even need to check it, but, you know, we're just showing it, yeah. All right, so we got 100 thousandths, 200 thousandths. See how it's close? Now I'm hitting the valve right there.
So that's about 215-ish?
Yeah, something like that.
Rounded.
It's so big, it's so much of a gap, it's lifting off of here,
Yeah,
right?
It's
so,
hard to tell.
Okay, so let's go a little bit.
So we got 215. We're getting a little closer.
And I mean, look, I'm barely turning this.
Yeah.
I mean, barely, because that's just. And now just imagine if you only had 80 thousandths.
Well, that was all the difference on my car.
Yeah. I mean,
So.
if you only had 60 to 80 thousandths, I mean, it's critical that when you get to the tighter point, you have to barely move this. I'm talking just an eighth of an inch at a time.
Yep.
And because you have to get that measurement to make sure you got enough clearance.
Right. All right. So it was at 0.
Yeah. There's 100 thousandths, 200 thousandths. So it's like
and about the same, about 213 maybe.
Yeah.
Instead of 15.
So let's try it again. A little bit.
Little bump. It's at 0 still.
100, 200. So it's about the same. So
seems like it's opening back up.
Yeah. So we've
probably gone past
I know
it.
we checked it a bunch of times, and we came up with about 200 thousandths clearance.
Yeah.
I mean, so, but
let's see if we.
a couple of times we checked it, and then we came up with 210,000 clearance.
Right.
I mean, because it's such a lot of clearance that it's not going to be that accurate. It has to be tighter for it to be accurate.
Bump it again. Recenter. So I think we're probably on our way back down, huh? 1, 2, 2.
Yeah.
So it's opening back up.
Yes. The valve's still opening. Piston's getting further away.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but let's just say 200 thousandths.
Right.
And we only need 80.
Yeah. We checked it about what this is the 5th time now. So
Yeah.
the closest we got was 200 thousandths.
Yeah.
So that's basically the process. You want to find kind of this end, find your maximum, and then to get to this point, you want to rotate the engine around to where the intake actually starts pushing back down, or right before it starts pushing back down. And then you measure the push, measure how far down it goes, find kind of the left extreme, and then find the right extreme, and then you could go back and forth, rotating it forward, backward until you get right in the middle, or you kind of can do what we did, whereas you found this point, you get closer and closer, measure that, and then it'll eventually start opening back up, and you'll see your number start getting larger, and then that's how you know your clearance. Luckily, we don't have to be too precise with this, since we do have plenty of clearance. I think exhaust is supposed to be like what, 120,
Yeah, they say at least 100 thousandths on the exhaust.
and then intake, you said 80.
Yeah. Some motors are tighter than that.
Yeah.
They.
Mine's probably going to end up tighter than that again. If you're supposed to be at 80 and you wind up with like 110 or something like that is your closest, you might want to check it a few more times just to make sure that 110 with a little bit of a movement doesn't turn into like 85. Then you'll have a problem like we did with my car, where intake valve started hitting, we didn't know it, and
it just barely was kissing it.
Yeah,
and it only did it after it got good and warm.
Yep.
Because it just wasn't quite enough.
Yep. Started kissing, and it broke it off in the cylinder wall.
Yep.
Luckily, wasn't really hot dogging it or getting on it or anything like that, so didn't tear it up too bad, but that's why the car's still sitting. So we're going to take this out, take the head back off, and we actually don't have this torqued. I didn't mention that. We don't have it torqued all the way down, obviously, because we don't want to crush the gasket. Have to get a new gasket. Have it kind of snug-ish on there. So we checked the overall thickness of the gasket when it wasn't compressed, And that was what, 62 thousandths, right?
62 thousandths, and then the but this gasket compressed is 51 thousandths.
Yeah.
So
we had
whatever measurement we just came up with,
which was 200,
we would deduct 11 thousandths, and so that's going to be our actual clearance.
So that's 189 when it's actually torqued down, and that is about 109 over what we need.
Yeah. So we're good.
Yep.
So that's pretty good for, you know, big cam.
Stage 4 cam. We thought we were going to have a little bit of issue because the block is decked and the heads are decked.
Yeah. So the heads, we got 3 thousandths off the heads.
Yeah.
I think the block was 2 thousandths, he said. I got it on the paperwork, but I measured, and the pistons are actually sticking up out of the block about 2 to 3 thousandths. I figured a 0 deck height with a 50. That's why we picked this gasket as 51 thousandths. So 51 thousandths with the CC of the chamber and the pistons. We figured it was going to be close to 11 to 1. Well, now with 3 thousandths off the head, piston sticking up 2 thousandths, 2 to 3.
Right.
He's going to be about 11.5 to 1.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to figure it out exactly.
Yep.
To see. So it's going to make some power. I mean, they'll have to pull a little timing on 93 for the tune, but I mean, look what you remember what Jared did on his
Yep.
427.
Yeah.
He had 12.5 to 1 or whatever he ended up with, because he did all the time.
Insert clip of Dad getting spanked by Jared's
Man,
vet here.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Dude, that car was freaking no joke, man. He had the cam specs were, you know, he didn't let us know what the specs were, but he had he basically built the 420. It was a 7 liter. I'm sure he had it balanced. I'm sure he took it apart and did it right, but he ended up with about 12.5 to 1 compression on that thing. Man, it was freaking rowdy. He ended up with, what do you say, 18 degrees timing?
I forget.
On 93 octane. He had a run, I think he said 16 or 18 degrees. Anything above that, he was getting knocked. So he tuned it on that low of timing. And it made
crazy.
580 something to the wheels. Yeah, I think it was 570 or 80 to the wheels on his dyno.
Yeah.
And that was an NA motor. That thing was probably more like 650
Yeah.
wheels now.
Yeah.
That thing was no joke.
Yep.
Well, that was probably about, like, you know, when we were in Mexico, you know, we did a little playing with that other 7 liter that was on E85. So, you know, he had his built on E85. So, you know, he had timing in it, and he was fast.
Oh, the white one?
The white one.
Yeah.
And remember when we went into 3rd gear, it was just...
Did we race him?
Yeah, we raced him. That's when you were like, I can't believe you stayed in it, because we were completely sideways.
Yeah.
You know, I mean...
Well, insert clip of that too.
Ready? Ready? 1, 2, 3.
It was him, and then that C7 that was Pro Charge.
Yeah.
Well, he had a Vortec.
Big Vortec, yeah.
But still, he was on the 85 and built too.
Yeah. He packed our shit.
1, 2, 3.
Well, both of them were close.
Yeah.
They were both close.
Yeah.
But we were on 15 pounds of boost that night.
Yeah.
And
Probably started getting a little heat soaked by the time we raced the C7.
no, remember we were spraying the meth, and we found out that we had the meth turned up too high on the video. It was 3/4 spraying.
Yeah.
And that's probably what was saving our motor on, so it's cooling it down.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I guarantee you, we had to be making 850 wheel that night. I mean, because we had to turn. I'm surprised we didn't blow it up.
Yeah.
But they were fast.
Yeah. There were some fast
Now,
cars down there.
the whole time we were spinning the tires. But we wouldn't like sitting still. Trust me, we were moving.
Yeah.
They were just faster.
Yeah, it was hazing the tires.
Big time.
For sure.
But they were fast.
Yeah.
I mean, I was surprised that we could hang with them the way we did, honestly.
Right.
So.
Yep. We
Impressive, man.
definitely did not blow the motor. The motor is still in the car. Car's still running.
It runs great.
This motor over here is a Coyote sitting on the ground. That actually came out of a customer's car. So in case any of you were contemplating if we actually blew a motor or something and thought that that was it.
No, that was
not
the
the
one we were
case.
supposed to build
Yeah.
for the black car.
Well, we probably still will at some point. Once we get some of these projects done in here.
No, we want to get yours done before we build mine, because that's going to be the fastest.
Yeah, but yours is already ready to go. That's the good part.
Yeah, but it's going to be faster to get your motor in.
Yeah.
And your shit's going to be faster, so why would we mess with mine, man? And you already got the freaking cage.
Right.
I mean, it's ready to go.
Ready to go.
Once we
Yeah.
put the motor in.
Yeah. Got some fine tuning to do on that. So we're going to take our tester spring off here, swap it over to the exhaust, and do the same exact thing. Test it, and then I think we're also going to check the diameter difference between the valves and the fly cuts.
Yeah.
So we checked the exhaust, and we had well over 250 thousandths, so it's nowhere close. But we have the marking compound on the exhaust right now. We're going to have to put the intake back in here in just a little bit. We just marked up the piston, so we're going to see if we can see the marking. We don't have the 100% right marking compound for what we're checking right now, but we're going to see if it works.
Because I actually...
So we got the exhaust marked up like that, and as you can see, we have the pattern, and
you can see the distance.
plenty of clearance.
Plenty of clearance on there. You can
And it's
put a-
perfectly centered.
You can
which is
put a nice big old valve on there, couldn't you?
Yeah.
With them pistons.
All right, we'll go ahead and check the intake, but I feel like we're going to have plenty of room there too.
Boy, look at that.
There it is.
That's freaking pretty, ain't it?
Looks like eyebrows.
Yep.
All right, so it looks like we're good on piston valve clearance. So we're going to go ahead, get the heads put on, I guess. Get all the rockers on and everything. We still have to make sure that the push rods that we have are going to work. We're pretty sure we're going to have to get different ones, but that's no big deal. We have an adjustable push rod that we can measure, make sure the preload's right, make sure everything in the valve train's correct, and this thing will be ready to put together and drop in the car. That's going to do it for Wild Hair Saturday. Promise next week it'll be better. If you want to see more on this car and some other builds that we have going on in the shop, as well as some builds that we're going to be doing on our personal stuff, whenever we get around to it, as well as drag racing and all that sort of stuff, please subscribe to the channel. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed the content, please like the video. Helps me out a lot. Like I said, subscribe if you want to see all this stuff. Subscribe if you're new. But that's going to be it for today. Haircut's coming this Thursday. Can't wait. I'm getting beard trim too. Barbara's going to take care of me because I have my wedding coming up here in 2 weeks or so. So, got to look good.
Yeah, look good.
Yeah, he does too. My old best man over here.
Look at my mop head.
Old mop head. Yeah, he's going to get a haircut before the wedding too. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch y'all in another video.